Hello and welcome to Maths on the Move, the podcast from plus.maths.org. I'm Rachel Thomas.
And I'm Marianne Freiberger. In this episode, we continue our mini-series leading up to the European Congress of Mathematics, which is going to happen in July in Seville, in Spain, this year. And we will be hearing from the mathematician Alessio Figalli.
Now, as we mentioned in the previous podcast in this mini-series, the European Congress of Mathematics happens every 4 years, alternating with the International Congress of Mathematics. And as well as being held in a different European city every time, they hear from mathematics from across Europe, and also they hand out a range of prizes. And the prizes we're concentrating on for this mini-series is the European Mathematical Society prizes, the EMS prizes that are handed to European mathematicians who are under the age of 35 in the year the prize is handed out. And in today's episode, we go back to our interview with Alessio Figalli, who won an EMS prize in 2012 and went on to win a Fields Medal, one of the biggest prizes in mathematics, in 2018.
Yeah, so Alessio Figalli won his Fields Medal for his contributions to the theory of optimal transport. As the name suggests, optimal transport theory is about finding the best way of moving a distribution of things from one place to another when there's a choice to be made as to exactly how to do this. So an example is you might have several gold mines dotted through the country and you want to take the gold from the mines to banks. And the question is, which mine should be matched up with which bank, which might depend on whether what you're trying to minimize is maybe the time of transport or perhaps the cost of transport, because as we know, if you have a sat-nav, you will know that the quickest route is not necessarily also the shortest route. So there are choices to be made. Optimal transport theory is all about this kind of setup, and it turns out that the mathematics can get very sophisticated. So we talked to Alessio about his work, and we started off by asking him how it feels to win a Fields Medal.
Oh, I feel extremely happy. It's a great honor, it's a great recognition. It's a recognition for me, for my work, but also for my community. So the general community of analysis, PD, partial differential equations, and in general my field of mathematics, and as well for Italy, because that's where I grew up, that's where I was trained, that's where I did my undergrads and part of my PhD. So I'm extremely happy for everything.
Great, okay. So part of the work that you do is optimal transport theory.
Yes.
So could you just give us a general idea of what that's about?
Optimal transport is about transporting resources from one place to another in the most efficient way. So it's a very natural problem. This depends on several factors. It depends whether, for instance, we want to transport resources from two cities which have a mountains in between them, and so you have to take care of the geography of the space where you are. But it turns out, in fact, that optimal transport is more than that. So it's not only just about the problem itself, but it's about the application it has. So in my case, I found application of optimal transport in clouds. So in fact, the fact that clouds can move optimally because they want to dissipate as the least possible energy. And so there is some optimality in nature. And once you capture this optimality, you can take advantage of that when you study these equations from meteorology from a mathematical viewpoint. And the same kind of principle is also when you study crystal. You want to understand how the shape of crystals, how crystals are influenced by external forces, in general by maybe heating. And again, you can use transport. You can use transport to understand how particles move. Well, for instance, you have a crystal and you start to heat it. And these crystals start to deform, and you can try to follow the particles this crystal is made of. So transport is in many things. It's not just the problem by itself. And this has been the focus of my research.
And are you working on an applied side of this kind of questions, or are you working more on a pure mathematical side, dealing with the mathematical problems that arise?
Yeah, I'm a pure mathematician, 100%. I work with a pen and a piece of paper. I usually just, take this problem from, physical and applied considerations. But then I kind of forget that. I just look at the equations, I just look at the mathematics, and I enjoy that.
And for somebody who's not familiar with this field at all, what kind of mathematics is involved? Just in a very general sense, you already mentioned partial differential equations.
Right. Yeah, this is mostly about partial differential equations. So these are equations that in general describe physical phenomena which changes in time, so there is a time parameter in them. It's more in general partial differential equation and also calculus of variation. So the idea of minimizing energy. You want to understand minimal energy configurations. These are both very, very important areas of mathematics, to which many problems, let's say, fit in.
And is there any way you can describe the contributions that you got your Fields Medal for, or is that quite a wide field that would be difficult to capture?
So let's say there are some that I can kind of describe. This is actually what I mentioned a bit before, this kind of cloud movement and this crystal movement, this crystal evolution. So two of my main contributions has been exactly to apply optimal transport to this field. There has been a lot of mathematics that I had to develop in order to do that, because sometimes something is to have an intuition that things can be connected, and something to prove a rigorous mathematical theorem that once it's proved is there forever, and you know that in 100 years from now it will still be there and you can use it. So I think these two areas of crystals and clouds are the easiest one to explain. There has been more mentioned also in the Laudatio for my Fields Medal about application to probability and a few more things, but these are a bit more technical to describe, so I'm not sure it will be easy to enter into that.
You mentioned what it means for your field of mathematics to have won a Fields Medal through you. What does it mean? What do you think will the impact be on your area of mathematics?
Well, the Fields Medal is the most important prize you can get in mathematics, and the fact that I got it means that the international community thinks that what I do and so what my community do is important. They recognize it, they recognize the value, and so this will be fantastic for the community, I think, because this means that people, I can see this on myself. It means that people value what I've done, and this gives me motivation to continue in that line of that research. And I think this will be the same for everyone else working in my areas. This means people will feel recognized because it's important. It's not just a matter of what we like as a mathematical problem, but also what other people think of what we do. If you work in an area that people don't recognize, it's not bad. It's not nice.
Okay, well, congratulations again.
Oh, thank you so much.
I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
Thanks.
a pleasure.
That was Alessio Figalli talking to us in 2018 when he won a Fields Medal at the International Congress of Mathematicians in Rio, in Brazil. Stay tuned for more interviews with EMS prize winners in our run-up to the European Congress of Mathematics.
Thanks for listening, and bye for now.